Yeah, what's up, Chuck?
How you doing?
All right. Well, we went to the Red, White, and Blue concert last night.
Nice.
Here in Vero Beach, Florida, and they will have one final concert tonight, 7 o'clock. There are still tickets available, and of course, our friend here, Beverly, she was there last night. How'd you like the concert, Beverly?
Oh, it was wonderful. You're so proud to be an American, and I want you to know those young people are beautiful in the orchestra and the band, and I'm just their demeanor. They were gracious. You could tell they were proud of what they were doing. I'm so pleased I was there.
Available for tonight's concert, 7 p.m. at the Vero Beach High School Performing Arts Center. If you're patriotic, if you love America, if you like the red, white, and blue, stand up for America. This means you, Chuck Cannon. He's looking to him. I hope he doesn't look at me. He's looking out the window. Like, he doesn't. Is he going to ask me, am I going tonight?
I'm like the audience member of a comedian. I don't want to make eye contact with him.
Yes, that's right. I've experienced that.
Well, you were the MC.
Yeah.
You were the MC. You were delightful.
Well,
yes.
That's obligatory. You kind of have to say that.
But that's not easy. You know, to attract the audience, and then you sang. You really sang.
Yeah, you're right.
I often wonder about the Pledge of Allegiance. Do young people know that? Really, can they memorize it?
I think a lot probably know the pledge because they do it in school still. But people that can't remember the words of the Star Spangled Banner. And they were playing it one night they were playing it after it might have been after the Super Bowl on the radio station. And they said, why don't you sing along and see if you remember the words? Because everybody's almost amazed more that somebody gets through it than not.
Mm-hmm.
And I was amazed that there were a lot of parts of it that I had to kind of hum through it because I forgot exactly how it goes, So
it's a tough one to sing to.
Yeah. Well, the words are tough, but then to sing it's got to be real talented. I mean, it goes up and down.
I was at the site in Maryland where Scott Francis Key wrote the song.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's very inspiring when you're there and you know that we were in battle and he took time to write that song that lasted for generations.
Right. National anthem.
Yeah.
Over there, over there. Well, it won't be over till it's over there. I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy, a Yankee Doodle Doodle Die, a real young son of the Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. Did you ever see that movie?
Yes.
Yes, the James Cagney.
Yeah.
Just make up your mind, Rhett. That's what he told me. I got to meet him there. Yeah. You know, he had helped ever tell you that story?
No.
Oh, no? Would you want to hear it? Because you're going to. So anyway.
As long as I don't have to make eye contact.
James Cagney purportedly lived in Millbrook, New York, which he did. So one Sunday, I must have been, I don't know, 21, 22, because let's see, Angela was my girlfriend then. Okay, so anyway, so we're in the back seat, my parents in the front seat, and I said, hey, let's go for a drive. Let's go over to Millbrook, New York. We'll go for a nice ride. It's over near Pauling, where Norman Vincent Peale lives. And I understand that James Cagney is a place there. And he helped John Travolta break into the movies. Maybe he'll help me. I swear to God. So we're driving along, and guess what? I swear to God. Pull over, he's behind us. It's James Cagney behind us. Now, this has got to be an act of God. Yeah. So we pull over. Follow that car. So we follow the car. We're following all the way to his house. They pull up in front of it. The lady who's his caregiver then, because he was like 84, says, you're following us. And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, but no one else in the car wants to meet Mr. Cagney in the show business. And so she says, well, you wait here. Then she comes back a few minutes later and she said, Mr. Cagney says he'll meet you, but don't be looking in the back seat because his wife's back there. Of course, as I walked by, I did look at her. She was a little teeny tiny, fragile, I mean, petite. She was wearing a thing you wear around the house. A jacket, what do you call it? Smoker's jacket, house coat. Yeah, you know, like somewhere only in the. But anyway, so she was there and she was smoking a cigarette, leaning away. She wanted me to see if she's smoking a cigarette. Anyway, come up to and my grandfather used to call him a chowderhead. Later on, he said, "Oh, you met." This time he didn't have a neck.
Okay.
So, because Mr. Cagney was a short movie.
Right.
Anyway, so he goes, I said, Mr. Cagney, nice to meet you. My name's Rhett, and I want to break into the show business and blah, blah, blah. And he says, wear up your mind. You're going to quit. Thinking, I do it, kiddo. Anyway, so we had
James Cagney or
James Cagney.
Edward Kennedy that you met.
But a little bit of it. That did sound a little like him.
Yeah.
You were the dirty rat that killed my brother. No, that was James Cagney. Yeah, from the same era. From the same era there. Yeah, that's it. Now I'm talking like that guy. What's his name? Yeah, he talked like that. Yeah, who was that guy? What was the guy you just mentioned?
Ed Kennedy.
No, not Ed Kennedy.
That's right.
Not you. You gotta get this going here, or I'm gonna shoot you.
No, was James Cagney the one that said you dirty rats?
You dirty rat. Never. Yeah, that's right. You dirty rat. You. Well, yeah, try to make it. You just passed me by. I tell you what, all you fruitcakes, I'm gonna blow you away one of these days.
You dirty rat probably had to go through the censors and
He
everything
did.
else back in that day.
Yeah. Well, he was famous for, remember that scene with that famous Claudette Colbert, was it? He took the and smushed it in her face in the movie, remember?
No.
And he said that wasn't part of the script. He just did it. He was mean.
Sure.
And did it, and it's his most famous scene.
Mm-hmm.
What a fun. And of course, Yankee Doodle Dandy, which is the true life of Cohan.
Okay.
And it's a classic movie. Well, anyway, so Mr. Cagney says they go down to the house, and she says, "Wait here." She comes back, and she has 3 autographed pictures, of which I still have one in my house right now.
Oh,
Yeah, one to my
really?
mom. I think I may have it too. But anyway,
But Rhett, the young
Yep.
people today wouldn't recognize names. Claudette.
it was film. But anyway, so she comes back and says, "Mr. Cagney says he wants to give you a part in his next motion picture."
Oh,
Now, what are the chances of running? So I'm all excited. This is Mike Brady. He's the guy that helped John Travolta. You were on, right? Okay.
yes.
So here's what happened. So, anyway, he died 2 months later. Okay. To get him, you're late and you missed my James Cagney story.
I heard it.
You did.
I did. Of course. Yeah.
Oh, good. I was just going to say he was late and he missed my.
And you did an awesome James Cagney impersonation. I was impressed with
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize. I forgot you were coming. This is the pastor of the new church I've been going to. 30 years. He's tell Chuck and everybody why you're obsessed with movies. What your dad.
Well, my dad was very strict growing up, and he realized that he'd have to filter through all the modern film. The dirty stuff wasn't in it, or just have us watch the classics because they're all safe.
So every week this guy is talking about classic movies like I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody. And that was On the Waterfront. Now tell the story you told. It's your favorite film.
It is my favorite film of all time, yeah.
Really?
If I have to pick a classic, that's my favorite film.
Well, I have a copy of it at home. Do you have your own copy? I'll give it
yeah,
to you.
I think I do, but thank you. Yeah.
Now, because of that, do you find yourself drawn to just classic movies, or do you find yourself like it's a whole new world now that you're an adult that you can watch anything?
Oh yeah, there was a time that I was just going crazy watching everything.
That theory I tried with my daughter raising her, where we Beatles and oldie,
I think we
classic
talked
rock
about that.
thing.
Yeah.
And she grew up knowing Beatle lyrics and Monkees and all this stuff that I listened to, thinking that if she gets to like it as she grows up, she won't mind when I throw in the old whatever I was driving, a cassette or CD. But now she, as an adult now, she doesn't listen to any of that. Although she does know the lyrics to most of the Beatles songs, but she shies away from that more modern stuff now. So it didn't ingrain anything in her,
I have an appreciation for all generations of film at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the modern films, and I'm not opposed to them. Of course, I do have to say the classics are superior, and objectively, unless you're talking about special effects.
Now the Monkees are playing up in Melbourne in May.
They're still
2 of them actually.
Wow.
Peter Tork and Keith Dolan. And I asked my daughter, I said, why don't we go just dad and daughter and go up? You know all the song? No, absolutely not happening.
I got to see the Beach Boys.
I did too. I watched. Did Sunrise? Did you get on the Sunrise?
No, it's up in Interlochen.
Did you see Love and Mercy, the movie Love and Mercy?
No, I've not.
You ought to watch that if you're a Beach Boys fan at all,
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
Brian Wilson fan. I'm amazed that they got any music out. You know, they had such a terrible life. Their father was so abusive.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I haven't watched many of the biopic films like Jersey Boys. I haven't watched that one
That was a
yet,
good movie, too.
but I heard good things about
And
it.
Brian Wilson, how that
Yeah.
group ever
Who?
had the Beach Boys.
Oh, what
I
about?
was saying, well, we were saying the movie Love and Mercy. I asked him if he had seen that movie.
Oh, you didn't see that yet?
No.
And I'm
Oh
saying, I
man,
don't know how
it's kind
they,
of dark, but it's good.
I don't know how they got as many songs out there. It was such a dysfunctional group of guys that always had this major.
It was very depressing. It makes you want to shoot yourself.
Not quite.
Well, Brian Wilson, and
Oh, wow.
bipolar, and he had
He
that.
was genius.
and he
There
was
always
genius,
is
yeah.
a natural, and this is something you could talk to about God about, is that there always seems to be this natural thing. People that are extremely shy have gifted, people that like an idiot savant. You know, they'll spill a package of toothpicks on the floor, and you go, how many toothpicks? There's 582
Yeah.
toothpicks. How do they know that? I actually went to a private school for a while with an idiot savant,
Mhm.
and he knew every record. There was a whole wall of records at the school and the library, and every record. And as you looked in the that looks like a famous ball player there. You know, who was that guy? Anyway, welcome by. Anyway, so you could pick out any album, and you could say, okay, Beatles 1964, something new. He'd go, oh, A67 4 360, put out by Columbia Records. It was released on July 4th, 1960. He's like,
It's like Rain Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
and I actually
Classic.
went to school with a guy like that.
Yeah.
But he was weird socially.
Yeah, right.
And usually guys like that are weird. So, folks, that's why I am the way I am.
Oh, super talented. That's
Yes,
yes.
there you go.
Well, he is training you right, isn't he, Beverly?
Yeah.
What did she do when she handed me my coffee this morning?
She said, here you are, master. Now, when I used to have to get his coffee before you came, I had to walk into the room, and then I had to back out of the room and look down at the floor. I wasn't allowed to look him in the eye.
You know, when you see the king or queen, actually, that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh,
Like I was with somebody recently who went
Yeah.
to Queen of England. You know, you're supposed to curtsy and then, or whatever you call it, bow, and then you back up. You're not supposed to. You have to be at least like so many feet before you can turn because you're not. You know, you're not
that's if
supposed to
you're
turn
in
your back on
England.
royalty.
Yeah, in England, right?
Yes.
Mhm,
Yes.
yes. Well, anyway, you're a master because you rule this place. You know
With
that.
an iron fist. Oh, yeah.
Do not.
Rules the
Yeah,
airways.
come on,
We're
Shane rules us.
petrified. We're
He can-
petrified of it.
Shane's in charge. He can cut the button anytime. You're off the air. Tough luck. Goodbye.
Now,
I'm
Rhett,
going to go watch myself some corned beef and cabbage.
You know, that's like the story
What?
you told about Trump
Yeah.
and the electrician who was looking for Trump to pay the bill.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah. Well, I was up at John's Island, and this man up there was a friend of mine. Actually, he was very quiet. He was a quiet guy, kind of like Shane, but he actually even more quieter. This guy had been a World War II fighter pilot, okay? And, you know, it's always the one that says the least that really has the most to say. So he's the kind of guy, when he did speak, we have a group of men we meet on Tuesday mornings. When he did speak, everybody got quiet, you know? What's that commercial when what's his name speaks? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
So one time he says, yeah, I met Trump. And he said, I have good stories about Trump and bad. He said he put in all the electricity. It was, you know, $1 million project for him up in New Jersey
Okay.
at the new,
Oh, Atlantic City.
yeah. And so Trump goes, oh, okay, so there's a final payment here of $300,000. He says, sue me for it. Now, there are people in business who do business that way. I've even run into people like that in this town. It's like they got to get the last kick in there, or they feel like they didn't win or something. It's really weird psychologically. So true. He said Trump. Now, this man would not lie. He's a devout Christian man. I really believe that. And he said, Trump said, sue me for it. He goes, well, you're having your grand opening on Tuesday, right, Mr. Trump? Yeah. He said, you know, you got a lot of things planned, dancers and confetti, and everybody's going to show up. He says, well, wouldn't you like there to be electricity that night? Trump handed him the check for $300,000.
Yeah.
Now, the other side of the story is I've heard good stories where Trump has helped out poor folks and done nice things. So, so there's two sides. He seems to run, every time I want to like that
That's
guy,
with anybody, right?
every time I want to like something, fill it all by saying something stupid.
It's a Scorpio. You know how Scorpios are.
Hey, I'm
You're one of them.
You're not supposed to give away my secrets.
You are no secret.
What's wrong with Scorpios?
You are no secret. What'd you say?
What's wrong with Scorpios?
What's
Got
not?
two personalities.
Oh,
Are you?
I am a Scorpio.
Oh, so am I. Are you?
Of course, it
Three
takes
of us.
one to know one.
We have
You're a Libra, right?
7
I'm Cancer.
personalities.
Oh,
in the room.
Cancer. Oh, that's why we get along so well. I always get along with Cancer. Cancers are very nice people, generally.
Shall we?
Every Cancer I've run into is a nice.
Shane.
What are you, Shane? I'm an Aries. And my brother was.
He
an
has a
Aries.
birthday coming up. April soon. Yep.
Oh, April soon. Okay. Well, we're going to be celebrating your birthday, April soon. April soon, that's right. When is it really? It is not.
Yes.
Kidding.
Oh my word, hold on, come on.
You're gonna be sorry you
Give
said
me a
that.
little, oh my word. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shane. Happy birthday to you. We're doing a rock. Let's try a rock version, right? Everybody sing like this, like a little bit like who's that guy that killed the plane there? We'll go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, may your dreams come true. Happy birthday to you.
Wow.
At least he didn't do Madonna. Or, I mean, Marilyn Monroe. He didn't do Marilyn.
Happy birthday, yes. Birthday.
Happy birthday.
You can do that.
Mr.
Do it.
Shane.
You do it. Do it with Marilyn Monroe. Sing real breathy. Just
Oh,
go.
I don't know
Just
about
try it.
that.
Attempt this.
Maybe I should feel like Marilyn Monroe.
That's right.
I have no
Just do it.
idea.
You want us to turn down the lights here? Look at just seriously, like go like this. Go.
Happy birthday, dear President. Happy birthday to you.
It sounded more like you're just trying to whisper a secret.
On to Boca.
Oh, you can't go yet. Did you like the Red, White, and Blue concert last night?
I love
Would you
it.
recommend everybody listen to come to the concert
yes,
tonight?
it brought tears
7
to
o'clock.
my eyes.
Yes.
It's just
I
wonderful.
think that Pastor Dempsey should go.
You
And his
know,
whole
for anybody
congregation.
who's ever been in the service, it's such a tribute. You stand up if you were the Marines or the Navy or the Army. That brought tears to my eyes to turn around and see all these people standing up,
Yeah.
these people who protected us.
You
Beautiful
know what
tribute.
makes me emotional too is, and I've talked about this before. We fight about politics, we fight about religion, we fight about economics. We all seem to come together when it comes to patriotism, though. That maybe to bring us together, since we're so divided, that maybe we should concentrate on being more patriotic, because everywhere I go to ball games a lot, and it is very emotional. 60, 70, 80,000 people, Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem plays, and the color guards come out, the jets fly over. Everybody has a tear in their eye. Everybody has their hand over their heart. Everybody shakes hands. Everybody hugs each other.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wow, it's such a camaraderie, and it's such a pride you have, and if you've been in the military, especially, I was a military brat. I go on base.
You got to come tonight.
When I go on
Are
base,
you off? You're off
No,
tonight.
no.
I want you to come.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on.
You always do this to me, but
I'll buy your ticket.
okay, I'll be there.
Mhm.
But anyway, I was just making the point that the patriotism, I think we should concentrate on that.
Oh.
We're
Yes.
very proud people.
Just
The birthday boy is saying we have got to go for a
Oh.
break. It's the law. So we have to go for a break, and then we'll be back. Today's broadcast brought to you by Route 60 Hyundai and Center for Advanced Eye Care, 5 eye doctors that genuinely care about your eye care. And CJ Cannon's, a restaurant with a beautiful panoramic view out of there. This is my first trip for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's CJ Cannon's.
I would love to talk to you about movies sometime. I watch everything.
You know what I watched last night? I went to see Eye in the Sky.
Oh, me
Have you
too.
seen that?
Me
No.
too.
Oh, what a great
I was
movie.
talking
New
about
one?
actually,
Great, yeah.
What's it about?
more
It's
modern
about-
films, like Shawshank Redemption on Sunday.
Eye in the sky, like futuristic? Or?
No, it's a movie, and it's
Such a
mostly
movie, and I
a
was using it as an illustration
mostly
for
a-
how when we have struggles around like
written
walls,
dialogue movie, but it's
pick
about
away
drones
slowly,
in
even if
Libya.
it takes
and,
19 minutes.
Save it for air.
Yeah. And I like when, what's his name, Robert Morse? He discusses the movie beforehand.
Yes,
And
yeah,
I want to get in there and make a point, just.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Red and I were talking about maybe sometimes doing some events at the church where we actually discuss the movies and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll be coming to your service because I go to the traditional and then I step in at the last minute to yours and I thought, this is more me.
So you're young at heart.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Great, that'd be awesome.
Bye, Chuck. And bye.
Bye,
Richard.
see you later.
And your brother is Noah,
Noah is my my brother-in-law. Yeah,
brother-in-law. He's a sweetheart.
he is. He
Oh,
really
my gosh.
is.
Yeah, I met him
And a
because.
very
he was
servant-hearted
training
kid.
here. Mhm.
He's one of those kids that defies the generation.
Thank you. Say that number again. 772-778-4241. Postal Connections, it's good enough for the mayor. They'll do a great job for you, I promise. When you pay too much for your stuff. Frustrated. Junk when you watch reality TV. Junk when you watch reality TV. Your clothes don't fit and your friends stop calling. When your clothes don't fit and your friends stop calling, you get depressed. Adopt 27 cats and paint your house plaid. When you adopt 27 cats and paint your house plaid, your neighbors report you to the authorities. Don't get in trouble with the authorities. Shop at the Habitat Home Center Restore, where you can get all sorts of stuff for great prices. You can also donate your stuff and we'll pick it up for free and give you tax credit documents. So you can shop, donate, or volunteer at the friendly Margaretville Community Center Restore, located on US 1 North in Myrtle Beach, just past 45th Street East Side. Phone us at 772-257-0222. 772-257-0222. Habitat Home Center Restore is a not-for-profit.
Well, that's weird. And I said, okay. So I'm syncing my clock in there because the computer in there gets off. So it'll be off for like a minute, 30 seconds. So every morning, one of the things I have to do is sync the clock to make sure that it's to the proper time. Well, I sync the clock and it says it's 8:03. But 8:03 and 30 seconds, the audio for them stops. So I'm syncing the clock again on a different source, thinking maybe it's me. Maybe I synced it on the wrong one. I synced it for 3 other settings, like government A, something B, and they all came up with the same thing. I'm like, okay, well, it's them. Their computer somehow got a tone and fired off 2 things. So they played everything they needed to before the 5 after. I didn't know if I started playing something, if it was going to go out or not. I said, well, I'll just wait till 5 after. When it's our time, and I'll start playing stuff. Because they also have a recorder down there that starts recording for the replay from 6 to 8. So if I start playing something early, their recording could start in the middle of the spot. And then when it replays tomorrow, you're going to hear it start in the middle of the spot. But I'll just wait till 5 after. I'll start on time, and then hopefully everything else will be, good from there. The news, hopefully it's start on it. Probably check on that. Whatever, no problem.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Marilyn Monroe. It just sounded like you had a secret for the president. Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, he was pretty good this morning with those impressions.
I'm going to try. I'm working here.
How you doing today?
So far, so good. How about yourself?
Oh, can't complain. Still waking up.
Yeah, I've already had my coffee. I've already been unloaded a truck. Our food, it comes usually around 6. Already been up on the roof with a repair guy to fix the exhaust
So it's
fan.
been a long morning for you.
Yeah, I was saying, I'm actually probably gonna leave here and feel like I've done a day's work.
Yeah.
Well, after the fact, we went back to a friend of ours' house and hung out there for a little while. So I had 2 Sam Adams, and we ended up, what was supposed to be just the going away party turned into a going away party / my early birthday party. I was gone all day yesterday, so I left at 11:15. I finally got back to my house at 8 o'clock last night.
But they acknowledge your birthday.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they all knew it was well. I mean, 2 of the people there were my best friends that I've known since. The joke is, I've known him since I was
Busy
taller.
to manage your Facebook
He's
page?
6'9".
This will help manage and grow your Facebook pages for you and free you up
Because
to
I
do
was
what
born
you do best.
before
This
him.
is on it. Start today.
I was about
Grow
this
your
tall, he was
pages,
born
free your
this
time.
tall. So about 2 to 3 months, I was taller than him. And then
Regal Paint Design Center, located 1800 US
my
1
friend that
Vero
was in
Beach.
the Air Force, I've known
Store
her
homes, furniture, interior, exterior, Regal Paint featuring
18
Benjamin
years.
Moore.
Elvis doesn't mean we're coming back. That right here.
He usually comes in right at the last minute. They play I think they play the songs again and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Benjamin Moore offers the best to protect your seasonal or permanent home all year round. Think of Regal Paint Design Center as your hard-working art supply center. Call 257-7366 Regal Paints.
Good morning, listeners. I have really good news for you if you have a problem with varicose or spider veins. We have an experienced vascular surgeon right here in Vero Beach that specializes in this rewarding procedure. Veins disappear, never to be seen again. The doctor is...
You're right, about a minute and a half till we come back.
Remdev is a board-certified vascular surgeon with a Harvard medical degree. Dr. Remdev is an experienced medical doctor qualified to do carotid artery procedures. They black the nasty plaque. Best of all, his primary office is in Vero, with additional offices in Sebastian and Fort Pierce as well. Dr. Remdev is affiliated with 3 hospitals. When you need the very best, call Dr. Remdev at Vascular
What did you say,
International
Shane?
Vein and Associates.
Well, I did say you had a minute and a half, but now you have just under a minute.
All right.
That's not counting the open, the life of shot.
Oh.
I may play the pledge too this time since you brought it up this morning.
Now, what I don't understand
772
is that people have been asking us for copies of our magazines. I tell everybody we don't have it. Now I
8482.
discovered
Watch them
this whole
disappear.
box here,
If you want
which
to look
kind of
like you
ticks
have
me
a
off.
touching class,
Is that
a
this
touching
month or
class
last
strap
month?
Let's see, we'll find out.
770-9900. Remember that number, 770.
This month, this is the new one, right? Yeah, that's been the new one.
Uh,
There's a whole brand new box unopened here. Now, I know Elizabeth's in love, but this shouldn't, these things cost us $2 each, which means there's almost $200 that's gonna go to waste here if these don't get distributed. But the good thing about our magazine is they are timeless. It's all Pastor Dempsey's fault.
Just blame it on me, Rhett.
Yep, that's what you're there for.
Yep.
You're the scapegoat, baby.
I'll take it.
You're in trouble. Bixby, Edward G. Robinson, that's right.
So you went with the plus, huh?
Huh?
You went with the plus.
Just got it yesterday.
Nice. I saw on you.
The Beatles' birthday. Oh, did you put this on? Did you remember to put this on? Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, there we are. Yeah, how about the birthday? Oh, you're going to a birthday party. Well, you find it when we come out. Don't rush. We'll sing happy birthday to you again, and then, you know. He gets a kick out of that. All right, we're going to Shane's birthday party today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shane. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Shane.
That was the bass version.
How old are you? How old are you? How old are you?
Old enough to know better, too young to care.
All right, so it's Sparky's birthday today. And yeah, so we didn't know it was going to be Sparky. We wouldn't have known, Beverly, that it was Sparky's birthday. If it hadn't been for you. Yeah, thank you. That's great. That's great. Our sardines are in the refrigerator. She just handed me a note. Sardines are in the refrigerator.
Delicious.
See that? There we go. In case people are wondering, there it is, right there. See, sardines are in the refrigerator. What do you say? What do you say?
The writing's so small, it looks like a sardine made for it.
Yes, that's it. So, you recently, your favorite movie of all time is On the Waterfront.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Okay, so tell Chuck and our audience that's listening, because by the way, this is we have Chuck Cannon here. Good morning, Mr. Chuck Cannon.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the applause.
studio audience is still outside. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. And Pastor Richard Dempsey, named after King Richard. Okay, so he comes and he preaches. I found this new church. I slipped in there. It's a modern service.
Right.
They have this conservative,
Right.
and it's over behind Outback.
Right.
And it's I think it's a fairly wealthy congregation because someone just bought a big, huge piece of land across the new school used to be.
Yep.
I mean, this is huge, very expensive, and gave it to the church, right? And the church is now going to build this beautiful new church there behind Outback. So I go into this traditional service one time, and I'm sitting there, a traditional guy. Love the people there, but to sing this, to sit down, to eat, quiet and be respectful. It's just not Rhett. So at about 10:30, that was at 10 o'clock, 10:30, I see this piece of paper, maybe 10:45, says, modern service in the back. So I slip out of the pew and I go back there, and then this guy is preaching back there. And they got some hallelujah singing and some real good stuff going down, and some young people. It's very alive, And even though I'm 62, I still feel like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm 32.
Right.
It's not fair, because I really am 30. How old are you? If you
Mentally?
Yeah. Not what your wife would say, but what you would say.
My wife would probably say 13, yeah. I don't know. I agree with you. I'm probably 30-ish.
Yeah. I mean, I actually
Mentally.
have to go and go, I don't want to be in the traditional old people's church. I'm going, Rhett. Yeah. So I'm thinking of myself like 30, 32, maybe 38. That's when I arrived in this town. I'm going, no. I had my counselor tell me about a year ago. He says, you're old. I said, I'm old? He goes, yeah. You're 62. You're old. I went, oh no. I mean, that's really something to be told. You're old.
Yeah.
That's it.
Don't let them hold
It's
you
like
down.
depression set in.
You are who you are.
That I gotta.
I used to. My
have to
wife
charge
was
that
good
counselor.
friends with some people that were in their mid 80s
Yeah.
when we met them, and she had just bought. They were retirees from Ford, and every year and a half, they would get a new car. They were in some sort of a program where they
Yeah,
could
I
get
remember that.
her last year of life, she bought a Mustang convertible, like a Boss,
Yeah.
and she drove it up with the top down, and she goes, Chuck, do you think I'm an idiot? And I said, no. She goes, I've always wanted one. I said, great, good for you. And she said, inside, I'm still 25 driving around in this car. And
Well,
I thought,
actually,
I was thinking it's exactly like you're
I
saying.
look at people now and I realize, as an older guy, I realize this is something weird in our DNA. Look at, you go over to the Ocean Grill and you get one of those things they serve over there. They serve with the famous, like a crab, the legs. What are those legs?
King crab?
No, it's a
Stone crab?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you break that off the stone crab, they don't kill them. They throw them back in and they regrow it. Now, wait a second. The same guy that created the crab created meat. And yet it can break off its leg and it revises itself. Okay, same thing with our livers. Our livers are known, and now they know the brain, because we have somebody in the family that was born, little baby didn't have much of a brain, and now she's getting strong. National TV that the brain can regenerate itself.
Yeah.
Now they know that about the liver. So wait a second. the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we're calling you in here. And we want to know why we have to shrivel up and die. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Do you watch TED Talk? Did you see the little guy's only 17, but he has accelerated, growth syndrome? And he looks like a 90-year-old guy. It's very
No,
brilliant.
but I saw the movie with Robin Williams on that.
Oh,
You remember
really?
that movie?
Oh. But, so that can happen. I mean, I'm telling you, God, if he wanted to right now, wouldn't it be nice if just Jesus appeared in the sky today and said, "That's here, give me the echo, would you hear? That is it. We are done. No one else has to die. That's it. It's over. And now it's playtime."
Well, that's going to happen.
But then I told my aunt last night, like we went to my uncle's birthday. We had a little birthday party from at his house last night before the concert. He just turned 89. Got one more year till he's 90, And I said something about, we could live forever. So I don't want to live forever.
Mhm.
She really said something. So I'm not
Well,
sure.
there are a lot of people that are seem to be ready to go when it's time to go, and
Or
there's some
maybe they just
people
want to
that
take
don't.
a what do they call it, a dirt nap? I hate that saying, but a dirt nap. They say a dirt
Yeah,
nap.
because it's only
Jesus-
temporary.
Well, Jesus said the dead are aware of nothing. So we do go to sleep.
Yeah.
People say, well, Paul was a man like you and me. Jesus said, when you die, you're aware of nothing until the time of the erection or the resurrection, right?
You came close there. To say something you didn't want to say.
You ever do that up on the platform?
Oh, I have many. The worst was when I was a youth minister because all the kids, their minds were always in the gutter. And every once in a while I'd say something that just would come out wrong. I try to never say in a sermon the word incense because I have the hardest time not saying incest. And once they get their mind on incest, you can't get them on anything else.
And yet God put that desire there. I
For
wonder how.
incense?
Well, I watched a TED Talk last night. I watched a bunch of TED Talks. You ever get into the TED Talks on YouTube?
Very
I have
interesting.
not yet. No.
Oh my word, it's addictive.
Yeah.
These things last about 15 minutes on average. And they're really, really wise. And this one guy got up, I guess he's, what kind of an accent did he have? Oh, it was in Israel. I presume it was in Israel. I'm pretty sure because it said Jaffa, TED. So that must be Israel, right? So he was talking about his former addiction to porn and the devastation that this has on society and how men view women. It's horrible. And it's all about what did he say pornography is? It's about domination and all this. And I'm going, wow, I never realized all this stuff about what this guy is saying and how it's really depraves our whole society. I wish I knew the guy's name, but I also watched the one with the little guy who's all shriveled up ahead of his time. Remember, that's how we got on this. And anyway, I forget what I was going to say.
When I was actually in middle school, I gave a talk many, many years ago, but on pornography and the harm of pornography.
When you're middle school, it's when you're 8.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Yeah, I was at 8th grade,
Yeah.
and we got to choose a topic to debate, any topic, and I chose pornography, and I wanted to do on the harms of pornography. And I did research. I even remember some of the research about Ted Bundy. And I don't know
what
if
did
you've
it
watched
say?
the interview, but
No.
Ted Bundy from the guy from Focus on the Family had this interview.
We play Focus on the Family every day at 10 o'clock as a
That's
gift to
right.
the community.
Yeah. And he did this interview with Ted Bundy, and it's one of the most revealing interviews where Ted Bundy talks about the process of where he
Really?
got more and more addicted, needed a higher and higher high craving. It was pornography, though. It went from pornography to hardcore porn to what's called torture porn. And then he wanted to role play these things. So he would have girlfriends that they would role play torture porn. And then from there, he wanted to actually experience those things. And that's when he started kidnapping women.
And it ultimately is all about isolation. So women should be horrified that, I don't, you're closer to mine. How old are you?
58.
50. Okay, I'm 62. Now, did I look at Playboy magazine? Oh yeah, only to read the articles. I don't think so, Rhett. Okay, so I'm a young boy, 13, 14, and finally, you're coming into, your being manhood, and that was lightweight.
Mhm.
I mean, those were
yeah.
just like little sheer night clothes.
Compared to what's out there.
Oh my word!
Yeah, it's
I
got
mean, some stuff. I was like, this is like a gynecological magazine or whatever you call it, gynecological. And it was like, it's terrible. And women should be aghast at this. that, and I don't know why they don't say more. What is it? Women should be protesting and say, hey, get this crap out of here. It's ruining our children.
It's one of the unspoken battles. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah, like I was shocked this guy was willing to, he was up there. He's giving this talk in Israel, a very handsome young man, maybe in his mid-30s, and saying that he was addicted to porn and master, you know what, and came clean in the whole thing. And no one laughed. He was very intellectual, intelligent Jewish man who was coming forth with how this is very pernicious. Is that the right word? To our society. I was like, wow.
Well, you're a big
Take
fan, I know, of Billy Graham.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a story where Billy Graham was talking to a hotel attendant, and he was talking to him about Jesus.
Mhm.
And it was at a men's conference for all the Christian leaders. And at a certain point, the attendant said, you know why I would never be a Christian? And Billy Graham said, no, well, why is that? And he said, come here, look at this. And he showed on the computer some of the things that these Christian men at this Christian leadership conference were watching the night of the Christian. I mean, this is
How did he
while
know
they're
that?
there. Because he's the attendant. He's a clerk. He's a hotel clerk. So he's
Oh,
on
and
the
they have to
computer
pay
and
for it.
all the pay-per-view.
Oh my word.
And it was pornography everywhere. All these, yeah. And Billy Graham, that's when Billy Graham started talking about it a lot at his leadership conference. And actually, Billy Graham, one of the things I really respect about him and accountability, whenever he was staying in a hotel and his wife wasn't there,
I know.
even when he was in his 70s,
Yes.
he had someone check on him randomly.
No, he wouldn't stay in a room alone.
Well, yeah.
You know, I interviewed him, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't. When he drove
wanted
up
to
to,
make
he
sure.
was in the front seat of a car. He will not drive in the back of a limo. He won't drive in a limo, at least at this point.
Mm.
It was like this old Ford, and they said that he'll only drive in the front. Now he doesn't have to drive it, obviously. But yeah. Well, you know, they were afraid that somebody always had a man with him because they're afraid somebody would throw a woman into the room, take a picture. You know, the guys back in the 50s with the big, flash bulb, and they would try to ruin his career. You know, because.
And he also wanted to set an example. Because there's a lot of pastors that struggle with that.
I interviewed his daughter recently. Was in town.
Oh no, I didn't know.
We were at this Presbyterian church, and what was really weird is all my life I grew up thinking, oh, the Graham family, they're perfect. Well, let me tell you something. Billy Graham has an amazing gift of humility. Is an amazing spiritual individual. But she was very forthright, and the whole family. There's been some real screwed up mess of divorces and this and that going down, anyway. I don't know where he got his humility from. I kind of tried to figure it out because he said a long time ago, nobody gets a call of God without getting a death blow. So I'm going, well, what happened to Billy Graham? Well, before he met Ruth in high school, he got rejected by some girl. I mean, they were going out, and then she broke up with him. Do you imagine he broke up with Billy Graham? But anyway, broke up with him, and
I don't think I would break up with Billy Graham.
It broke his heart.
Yeah.
And so he had that, and it's kind of like the sand in the oyster that, and then it,
Well, bringing it back to what you were talking about earlier, where for every good thing God gives you, there's often something that goes along with it. So for every trial, there's a reward. Rain Man, kind of those people that have great obstacles that they have to overcome also have great gifts. And with great trial comes great character. So.
It says in the scriptures that he was a man acquainted with sorrow. Now listen, if anybody's listening to this, Chuck, or you, or anybody, Sparky, or anybody else listening out there, I want to make sure we're not talking religion. We're talking. I don't think Jesus wants to be looked at religiously. From what I know about him, he was anti-religious people because those are the people that killed him. He's like, this is real, He was a man acquainted with many sorrows. What? I mean, you hear that. Do you ever think about it? It took me 60 years of living to go, oh, the Messiah was a man acquainted with many sorrows. And that's before it went down that he gave his life, the fulfilling all that stuff. So it's like, wow.
One of the mantras that we use is we take the real out of religion. Because
the real out of religion,
extracting the real from religion, because there is a lot of things in religion that are man-made, and those things are all not the authentic. Is not what Jesus talked about, but so we try to take the real out of it and show that because there's some real spiritual.
But the problem is, you do get people that have an experience, and they get religious. Matter of fact, I was one of them. I was into Eastern religions. I'm 29. I got born again in my living room, and all of a sudden it was like, I'm going to church 7 days a week. I'm learning all this stuff.
Sure.
And all of a sudden then my gay friends come up to me and I hold the cross up. Oh, I mean, I didn't do that literally, but it's
Sure.
like all of a sudden my gay friends in New York City in show business, and I'm going, you know what you're doing, huh? And then till God broke my heart 10 years later, and some little gay guy was waiting on me in Nashville, and he came up with a tender heart, and I had a tender heart because I've been beaten up. And I went, I'm not going to judge anybody anymore. I like this guy's tenderness. I'm a tender person. And you know what? I'll tell people about Jesus, but I ain't judging anybody anymore.
I don't know what it is about human nature that we always make everything back into rules.
Yeah.
Even Jesus came and he gave us freedom from the slavery of sin and death and the law of sin and death, and yet we're always putting it back on. Paul talks about that, putting the yoke
Because we want to be our own savior. Like we go, well, I got to do, if I do this, now I got to act religious and then I get in. No. It's paid for. No. I got to go earn that new Mercedes. And Chuck says, no, I bought it for you. Here's the key. Oh, no, I got it. Well, then I got to go out. I got to do some extra advertising for you. No, Rhett, it's a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift. Here's the key. That's it. And that's, we can't get that.
Yeah, when someone asks me about some kind of sin, I always ask them the question, is this something you're personally struggling with? Or are you just looking for permission to judge someone else? Because I'm not here to grant you permission to judge someone else. That would be falling into another sin. If you are struggling with it, I'll talk to you about it and we'll help.
It's kind of like people. I've had the privilege of being around a lot of money.
Mm.
I've had the privilege of also living in the ghetto and then coming midway back again, maybe. So, I know it's like people walking around thinking you're better than somebody else.
Yeah.
That's not a happy feeling.
Not at all.
And when your whole security, and there's probably somebody up there, we have a very wealthy town listening right now, and go, oh yeah, you wonder why you're miserable. Well, because your whole concept of self is based on your bank account.
Mm.
And that's probably why you don't leave big tips when you go out. That's why you're frugal, because your whole self-opinion is on that bank account. Get rid of that thing. That's what Jesus told the guy. Give it to the poor, or at least put it aside for a while and pretend. Leave your money in your account. You want to do that. Leave your money. Go outside, put on some jeans, put on a t-shirt, and go down to our Father's Soup Kitchen and feed some hungry people. Don't tell them who you are, and don't base your content of who you are to yourself on money.
Yeah.
But on, wow, I fed somebody today, and this little old black lady, she cried. Wow.
Yeah, taking it back to another movie. The movie Cool Runnings has this awesome line from this guy who was a gold medalist in the Olympics and then cheated the next year. And he said, if you're not enough without it, you'll never be enough with it. And he was talking about the gold medal at the time. But that goes for everything in our life.
It does.
No matter what our successes are, if we're trying to have our self-confidence based on any achievement in life, it'll never be enough.
Just like it's beautiful,
it.
and girls that know they're beautiful is one thing, but
Yeah.
you got to be very. I had a pastor friend of mine. He had a gorgeous daughter. Well, you know what? The last thing I know, by the time she was 40, she still wasn't married. It became all about her. All these beauty contests. She was so self-focused. She was actually ugly, though her appearance outside was beautiful. I heard later on in life, she came to her senses and things are better. But it was almost embarrassing, her self-observation. What's the word? Absorbent. Anyway, today's broadcast brought to you by Route 60 Hyundai. We'll be right back.
I had a person ask me a question about that issue about self-confidence and whether it's good for us to have self-confidence or not just recently. And I was talking about, because they were talking about being nice to your kids, and I was saying that the real importance is about building their self-importance to the group. And the problem is when we talk about kids being special, we just talk about they're special as opposed to other people.
Give me a for instance.
So for instance, yeah. So what I do is I try to build people's confidence in how much they contribute to the community. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's the difference. Instead of you're special as opposed to everyone else versus you're special because you can help someone.
Hospice is about people who want to increase your daily quality of life with programs like music therapy, health therapy, and veteran recognition. Caregivers have support with VNA nurses, counselors, chaplains, social workers, and volunteers. Far too often, families say they regret not electing hospice sooner for their loved ones. It's never too early to learn about the full benefits of VNA hospice care. There is more to hospice than you think. Learn more at vnatc.com/more to hospice.
Your very favorite restaurant food delivered directly to your door. That's right. Log on to chowcab.com. Chowcab.com. Now they have arrived in Vero Beach, delivered direct to your door from your favorite restaurant. Chowcab.com. We're out at Vero's Caribbean Kitchen. Oh, it's so good here, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Ma'am, where are you from?
I live in Vero, but I grew up in Miami.
And how do you like the food out here at Vero's Caribbean Kitchen?
It's wonderful. I'm having the ropa vieja, and it's just as good as what I get in Miami.
Sincerely.
Yes, it really is good.
It is. It's delicious out here, folks, at Vero's Caribbean Kitchen. So here at 43rd and Route 60 for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Caribbean Kitchen. And say hi to the chef, right? And the chef's name is? Chef Charles. Hey, come on out here to Vero's Caribbean Kitchen, Route 60 and 43rd. You will love it. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. At Campbell's Appliance Repair, some things never change, like putting the customer first, doing the job right, and charging a fair price. For 60 years, owner Mike Campbell has built Campbell's Appliance Repair, one satisfied customer at a time. That's why homeowners love doing business with Campbell's. It doesn't matter whether you bought your appliance from a discounter, a department store, or your Uncle Max. Need an appliance rescued? Call Mike Campbell, 564-0057. That's 564-0057.
In other words, all being A, get a C or a B minus. They're trying to get and they're saying the reason for that may be.
It's 2:30 in the morning. Someone is trying to break in, but your security system from Complete Electric and Alarm is working. Your home's on lockdown, security cameras are rolling, and the authorities are already on their way. That's the security of Complete Electric and Alarm. The best security money can buy. Call 388-0533. That's 388-0533. Online at CompleteElectricInc.com. Complete Electric and Alarm, Florida's premier alarm service.
Like, what if you were out there? What I did,
This would be like American Idol. Ever watch American Idol with on? Okay. Now people get, and they don't know, they go, Amazing Grace! And they have no idea how that's done. Well, then so we said, well, it's only fair. So we're gonna have, the first 10 people that show up at the recording booth, they're gonna be our stars for the next 10 years. I just thought it was just wanted that fun.
Good morning. I'm an A student, and you're saying I'm a C student. Get an attorney. I don't understand that. Well, I do understand it, but I don't get how we came there.
Well, for hundreds of years, we've been saying we're equal, right? But we've been saying in that we are created.
Yeah.
So we're equal by the fact that we're all just as
Yeah, that's representative.
that's what it's saying.
We're equal in the way we should treat each other. I agree with that.
I thought when I was 16, I told Dad, I said, I guess I'm going to be a dishwasher. Hold on. And he said, I really thought that's, I'd gone down to 16. So I want to be a photographer. I went to a photography school. This was in basic photography. And what they do was custom shelves. And no personality. Knew nothing about cameras. And the guy knew his friend Sam was man downtown walking up in the car. I thought, I guess it was going to be a day. I really thought I was going to be a dishwasher. I'm sure I thought that was going to be good for somebody else because then, you go along and I didn't even know how, I don't know how this all happened. I came here, I said, I didn't work $500 my friend. This all happened by that job. But there was a time.
It's funny you say that because when you guys came to the chat, I was really socially awkward. All growing up, I was very socially awkward, and I wasn't exactly shy, but I didn't have many friends, and I didn't really know
It's amazing. But that probably is what somehow made this, you know? It's like if you rub here every day, you're gonna have a callus. Well, then if I went to work on hot items in the kitchen, I bet you just, you know, like, you see that little woman, they'll pick up something. How do you pick that up? Well, they used to, I bet you are used to picking up stuff for at least the people in your kitchen, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, like you were saying, for me, there's some people that just they say, well, I guess I'm just looking for it. Well, I guess I just don't know how to talk to people, and they just don't do it. And so they'll never get good at it. Where I was kind of the opposite, my trade was, okay, I'm really bad at this thing, so I'm gonna jump in full speed and just start talking to people.
Well, that's what I was getting at with the baseball analogy. I went home and the second year I made this,
like 7 or 8 people here, you know, not to keep my own corner. And there's 7 or 8 shows that go on at Rhett's place. Must be doing something where they're relaxing.
I would never have gone home and done anything. I would have just said, okay, all good, I guess, you know. And I just think that's such a shame because I think that.
Thank you, thank you.
If they take what you got going on today, some of your grades, the other kids, then the other kids, of course, you know, I mean, the higher should stop working. Because they know,
Exactly
you
what
know,
happened, that's what I was.
Interesting little example of that where
we're having to show up there. You know, something that's on there.
yeah.
Are you
So
busy?
you're told that you make 100% of the whatever instead of making.
All right, well, you have a wonderful day. Thank you for the birthday wishes. And
The clay pot.
we'll get back to producing the second thing in the show.
50%. Correct. 50% is right. Okay. Is it, you know, you have two people that
Still
make
there?
perfectly. Well, first, you
Oh,
know,
okay.
because the school system is saying, okay, let's take the.
Oh, you too. I'll talk to you later.
Person produces.
All right. Bye.
Well, then what do you got? You got 50% of the pots making it through, right? Versus if you get the other, right, you only have 25% of the pots making it through. Or 50% of it, right? And the other one have 100% all the way through.
Look, I don't play golf because I'm not good at it. If they give me the squirrel thing, maybe I would play a little. I'm glad I don't. I don't like, I'm not good, and I shouldn't do that.
That's right.
You know, people that shouldn't do that.
I just don't understand where that came from. I mean, was it us, the parents that made, we didn't like.
Probably. Well, it's the same people that cause people to die. This is very hard. I can talk about it. I don't know which one of you did. I had to learn though the hard way. I have friends that are dead. My friend Chris, 9 months ago, friend who shot to death. Okay, I don't know if you knew Chris. He's on here. He's running. Anyway, you know, you go, oh, well, let's help them out a little bit. Let's pay them to go in this place. Let's help them out. Here's a little money. They don't reach the bottom. Some people, and there's a danger at the bottom. Some people die at the bottom, but some people go, I'm at the bottom. Okay, Uncle, give up. They got to help you. You want to not drink or
Today's broadcast sponsored by Route 60 Hyundai. Great cars, great prices, great service after your purchase. Route 60 Hyundai.
Facebook management, workshop, coaching. They do it at Baziz. Baziz is the organization that will manage your Facebook program. You can call Baziz at this phone number.
772-226.
Excuse me, gentlemen, like we continue our show for another hour.
You're gonna come in with, is this one of those dangerous things you do for
BICC.com.
Someone's eyes. But it's not gonna fly. It's not like a laser fly.
I like how he asked that after he shined it. It's gonna hurt him forever.
Did I blind Chuck just now? I just want to make sure.
A bad thing that I just did to him.
Daryl, Laura, the sheriff said, did you?
Yeah, you did say it right, Jim. I should have just let it go.
No, I'm glad you did. That's entertaining.
Yeah. Resurrection instead of resurrection.
I'll let Chuck still have his theme. I won't, take it away from my birthday.
Okay, then you're gonna play the birthday song first, though.
Well, we're playing Chuck right now, so right after Chuck's theme song is done, then we'll play my birthday.
Okay, great.
Plus, I need an extra 5 seconds to plug it in.
Yes, it's the birthday party you're invited to. Today is the birthday party. And whose birthday is it? It's Sparky's birthday. Good morning, Sparky. How you doing? Okay, so what do you want for your birthday? What can we get you today? You want a birthday cake? What would you like?
iPhone 6 Plus.
A what? A what?
An iPhone 6 Plus.
An iPhone 6 Plus.
Who might have one? Yeah. He bought a birthday present.
What he wanted to do
himself
was
on
program
your
it for him.
Actually, you know, I never thought of that. This deal I got, now I'd have to bring back and pay a $35 stock restocking fee. I got 14 days. But you can get a free iPhone now if you would buy, but you have to have a new line. Yeah. So I could actually, that's what he wanted. We could, Barbara go, what are you doing? We can't afford that. You gave him an iPhone. Listen, bad news here. 1 dead, 3 rescued after pontoon boat capsizes. Now I have a pontoon boat, and it's pretty dang hard. I mean, that's why catamarans are popular among people that want something seaworthy because they're very hard to tip over, right? But 1 man died and 3 other people were rescued from a pontoon boat that overturned about 11 a.m. Sunday, west of the Sebastian Inlet. Now, west means they were not in the ocean. But it gets, there's a lot of whitecaps over there, according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission. The deceased man was found entangled under the 18-foot boat. Now, 18 foot is a tilted. Now I have a 22, which is relatively small. 18 is really small. That's like probably about the smallest pontoon you can get, I would think. And under the 18-foot boat, said one of the people rescued from the water was hospitalized. Moments before the boat overturned, Jan Styron of Sebastian saw the boaters. They waved back and appeared happy, she said. The cause of death and the overturning are under investigation. The National Weather Service had a small craft advisory that was in effect at the inlet at the time. Winds were about 20 miles per hour, creating small whitecaps on the water. Shane and Jan Styron said they passed the inlet before the incident and decided not to go through it because the water was rough and rocking their 25-foot cabin cruiser. And you can see the look of despondency on that couple. There's a picture in the Press Journal, front page of the Press Journal today. So
you never know the hour.
You know, water's very unforgiving. My brother drowned on 911, and you just water. You got to watch out.
I almost drowned one time.
You did?
Yeah.
How old were you?
That's a good question. I think it was middle school, maybe 6th grade, and I was just swimming with my brothers, and it was just a pretty wavy, and I tried to catch a inner tube. And as I was swimming with the waves, it kept getting farther and farther. And finally, I realized I got to turn back because I'm getting deeper and deeper. And I couldn't swim against the waves.
Who saved you?
My brother jumped in. My brother Robert, he jumped in to try to save me.
Which one is he? Is he the one who plays the music at your church, or
he plays the guitar, and he's got the shaved head.
The shaved head.
Yeah, he's the youth minister.
Is he the eldest?
No, John Peter, the one who does the keyboard, is the oldest.
And yet he acts the youngest. Don't you agree?
Well, I don't know if John Peter was there when but I remember Robert was the one who jumped in, and Robert did not know how to save anyone. So basically, when he caught up to me, we were just kind of dunking each other's head and trying to get air, and it was a matter of panic.
I must have been 5, 6. I remember that Holly Adams from the Adams family in Pine Plains, New York. And so if anybody has seen Daniel, I'd like to get in touch with those people again. Anyway, Holly saved my life when I was a little kid. I remember I was drowning under the water and pulled me up, and it was like, oh my word. You ever drown?
No.
No. How about you, Shane? You ever drown?
No. Now being a Florida boy, you learn to swim very quickly around here.
You know, Mr. Strunk from Strunk Funeral Homes, he did drown, and he said, and it's kind of cool in a weird kind of way, but Mr. Strunk drowned when he was younger, and I've had occasion to have to bring some people, dead people, to his, his place of employment, which is Strunk Funeral Homes. Anyway, he said that this fantastic peace overcame him. He said it was quite wonderful, but then they revived him.
Oh, wow.
So he said, which it sounds weird, but when somebody has drowned, you loved or died, and he can tell you that, you kind of, for some reason, I guess you're groping for some sort of a peace in any situation.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
But,
Well, this what ended up happening in my story is actually kind of incredible because my mom was not there. She was on a prayer walk. She was just walking in the forest, and she felt someone say to her, "God, go down to the dock." And so she started walking down to the dock, and then she felt someone say to her, "Run, run, Debbie, run to the dock."
really?
And so she started running, no idea why. And when she got there, she saw us both drowning at this point, both my brother and I. And she jumped in. And I remember
Your mom saved your life?
My mom, yeah, she ended up.
Oh my
dragging us.
word!
Yeah.
She heard like
She dragged
an
us
audible
both.
voice.
Yeah, she dragged us both into shallow enough that we could put our feet down. And I remember when the waves were hitting and I'm, barely drowning, I could see her, and I saw her image at the deck.
Yeah.
And then I saw her jump in, and at that moment, I knew I was going to be okay.
Wow.
It was that moment that,
I was up to, Old Man Jones up here, Jungle Trail. He died a few years ago. Well, anyway, we were good friends. We'd go up there and sit there, and I mean, he was really like a grandfather. As a matter of fact, I didn't have a dad, so I'm not used to men touching me.
Mhm.
And so we would sit there, and he'd pat on my leg, and he'd put his arm around me, but it was like, he was like a grandfather. And it was really kind of nice, actually.
Awesome.
It was very loving. But anyway, we were up there one time, I took my pontoon boat up there, and I pulled in, and Mary, his wife, was coming down. There were 4 of us there. So Mary's walking down the dock. She trips. Now, this is, an 80-something-year-old lady, manages to fall into the dock. Now, if she'd hit her head on the dock, it could have killed her. If she'd hit her head on the side of my boat, it could have killed her. But there was this little space. I mean, look, how much space is that? Like 2 feet? And she went directly head first, like perfectly, under the dock, under my boat.
Wow.
Now, all of a sudden, I go, now, Dick Jones is in his 90s. And then I forget I don't know which female I was with at the time. But anyway, and then there's me and Mary's under the dock. And I said, "You're the young guy here." Because about 10, 15 years ago, I said, "She lives or dies whether you take action right now." Oh. So anyway, I run over and I lay flat on the dock and I go groping around under the boat and I find her hands and I pull her. And all of a sudden somebody underwater, they weigh a lot. And I try to pull. Finally, I get under her, what do you call the arm sockets, and I lift with all my might. And I go, "Breathe, Mary, breathe." She goes, and then she goes back underwater. Then I lift her up again. I'm holding her, no matter what. It's like I gotta hold her, adrenaline. And then Mr. Jones got a ladder, put the ladder off the dock into the water, and then I dragged her over there. And she held on to that ladder for a while. Got back her breath, and we finally pulled her up the ladder. But that was a wild experience.
Yeah, a scary moment.
Yeah. So I guess I saved her life. That was kind of cool.
You always wonder what you'll do in those kind of moments. Whether you'll have the presence of mind to do the right thing.
With any kind of emergency.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about things like I work in a restaurant, so there's a bar there, and there's always people that are talking about what they do here, or what they would do that, and if somebody broke into my house, I'd do this. If somebody threatened me, I'd do that. If somebody fell in the water, but you don't know what you would do, and sometimes you surround yourself with the tools to think the emergency. But I've seen people that I thought were very brave cower away from an emergency, and I've seen people like myself when somebody got hurt that thought of nothing but helping. I mean, I'm not what I would think is somebody that I would want to be around if there was an emergency. I feel like I'm squeamish. I feel like I would be apprehensive. But I've been around situations where something's happened where all that goes away.
Yeah.
I've been in my home where somebody was breaking in, and I didn't become brave. I became fearful. But I would think, if somebody broke into my house, I'm immediately going to go do this, and this.
Well, you have to think these things out. Because
Well,
look at the guy over on the beach. Now, he came in there. His house was being broken into. Now you got those 2 guys that are in the bathroom. Remember? Now the story is they're fighting back, and he's trying to open up the bathroom door. They're trying to close it. But if he just let them go and left, he would have lived. Instead, the guy shot him through the door. Now those 2 guys, their lives are ruined. They're in jail forever. He's dead. The family is hurt beyond belief. And how many lives were 200 plus lives are affected. His sister used to work for us after that event. It's horrible. So sometimes, like, I always imagine I'm at a urinal and some guy, I'm in New York City, some guy comes back and he says, "Hey man, I got a gun, give me your wallet." Why practice? Okay, take it. My life's worth more. But then again, in a situation, have you ever been, you go and you fight the guy. What are you doing? You got what? You got $100 in your wallet? You got $20 in your wallet? You got 5,000 in your wallet. Is that worth your life?
No.
Give it up.
Yeah, it's funny because looking back, I was a security guard in Detroit, and I did a lot of stupid things.
Oh,
were you really?
I used to do the 12-hour shift.
Oh yeah, me too. Me
You
too.
did?
Yeah.
The night shift?
Night shift.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't have a gun or anything,
No, me either.
and everybody there had a gun.
Yeah.
Everyone that I
They
dealt
would
with,
let me have
they
a
would
gun.
say that. They would say, no, I mean the people that lived in the apartment, they would say, you got a gun? And I'm like, no, I don't have a gun. I have a radio. And they're like, well, I've got a gun. So you're going to tell me what to do.
You were the protection of them.
Yeah.
And they had a gun.
Well, and there were a lot of them were drug dealers and different things like that.
Well, that's the way a lot of the liberals want it. No guns for the police, but only guns for the thieves and the bad guys. You know, I mean, all these kids have been killed in a non-gun zone. Give the guards guns, make them train. Give the teachers guns. I mean, they have to go training at least once a month, practice. You know.
Yeah, I'll tell you my favorite story of what happened then. It was a kind of a silly moment. So there's a drug dealer who lived on the corner, and I saw him listening to hip hop, and he was doing some dancing. And so when I went up to him and I said, you gotta go in, it's past curfew. He said, what the expletive are you gonna do to make me go inside? And I said, I'm gonna battle you. And he what do you mean you're gonna battle me? I'm gonna breakdance battle you. He's like, what? White boy, gonna breakdance battle me? I'm like, yeah. You go first, and then I'll go. Well, what he didn't know is I'd been a breakdancer for my life, and I actually used to teach.
Really? Wow.
So at the time, I was instructing people how to breakdance. So when it came I was doing, windmills, 1990, stuff. I can't do any of that stuff anymore. I can do some of it, but they were so impressed. And the guy he's like, from now on, anybody gives trouble. I can't say what he said exactly. Word on the radio. But anyone who gives you trouble, tell them you're my brother,
my boy.
Okay. Yeah. And so sure enough, I never had any problems on that property.
Really?
One time, one guy
totally cool.
gave me a problem, and I told him, hey, Mike on the corner, his name was Mike, and he goes, yeah, I'm his brother, and he was, what? Go ask him. And so the guy came back to me the next day. He said, I want to apologize to you. I disrespected you. It'll never happen again.
Really?
Yeah. I've never heard anyone go 180 degrees different so quickly.
All right, we're going to take a little break, then we're going to come back. Today's broadcast brought to you by Dr. Tim Ioannidis, Treasure Coast Dermatology. You should get a full body scan. Just the other day, I had a little bit of piece of skin taken out, and they sent it off, and we haven't got the results back yet. But you too, skin cancer is pernicious in the state of Florida. It can kill you. I'm not going to go into the details, but I've known of people who have been killed by skin cancer. Get a full body scan at least once a year. Go see Dr. Tim Ioannidis, Treasure Coast Dermatology. He's extremely successful. Why? Why is his practice so successful? Because he's good at what he does. Dr. Tim Ioannidis. This is the mayor of the airwaves. Going to take a break. Today's broadcast also brought to you by Chuck's Restaurant, which is C.J. Cannon's.
Yes, it is.
How many years you been running that place?
This month will be 32 years.
It's not only Shane's birthday, it's your birthday this month.
April something is
April,
our anniversary.
April something. Okay. Well, happy birthday. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, C.J. Cannon's. Have you ever been out there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you had the eggs Benedict?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, very good.
It's awesome. It's like
I used to go
5 star.
every Friday.
Oh,
See
did
it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Promise Keepers as a Christian
Oh,
group. They go to
oh,
CJ
Friday,
Cannon.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll be right back.
Whatever happened to Jack Lewigard? Is he?
He's doing good.
Is he was part of the group.
Yeah, is he not there on
Now,
Fridays
I
anymore?
don't see any of the Promise Keepers unless they're a smaller group, but they used to sit right on
We go to
front two
CJ
tables.
Cannon's every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Jack had a stroke, I guess.
Yeah, he's back to. I think he's at Friday, but maybe doesn't go anymore.
Yeah.
But he is back now.
He used to crack me up because I knew him originally from being the owner of Marvin's Gardens, or one of the owners.
Yeah.
And we used to know him back in those days.
Sure.
Of course,
Many
we were all
different.
young.
He was much
But
different.
he would always say, Chuck, remember when? And he'd go through this whole story and all that, and then he'd look down and he goes, that was before I was saved. You're sitting there, oh, okay. It's not this wild story.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm really close to his son and
John Luke, right? Is
yeah,
that the name?
yeah.
Because he went to school with my mom, John Paul.
Yeah, and he tells me, Jack's told me all those crazy stories. He actually shared his testimony one time for our group. Yeah.
He's a good guy, though. I really
He's a
like
really
that.
good guy.
But I hadn't seen him since his stroke. I read some updates on Facebook that
He's
our
doing well.
mutual friend.
Excuse me, sir, was there something you were supposed to tell me this morning?
I don't know what.
I'll give you a hint. Is there someone that's doing a live show today that normally doesn't do a live show today?
I don't know. Did he call you?
Maybe they just called to tell me they're doing a live show today, but they did mention that they had informed somebody else that's in the building that was going to remind me or to tell me that they were doing a live show.
No. He didn't tell me I had to tell
There's
you.
some passive aggressiveness.
Yeah. No.
I'm just saying, somebody mentioned that somebody was supposed to tell me that they were doing a live show today.
Well, that may have been his take, but no one told me that I was supposed to say anything. I was kind of made aware of that. He talked to Barbara, actually. So you can call Barbara and you can admonish her.
I really don't care. I mean, whether it's live or playback, either way. Oh, by the way, here we go.
Okay, we continue our conversation with Pastor Richard Demsick. What kind of church are you at over there on right behind Outback?
It's an Anglican church.
Okay, but you're like well, we also have Mr. Chuck Cannon here, my co-host. Good morning, Chuckaroo.
Morning.
How are you, Chuckaroo? Okay, all right. So anyway, is this your first time meeting Richard?
No, I've met him several times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you this. You were saying something? What were you just saying?
I was just sharing my story about the gang.
Hip hop.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a good story.
That was
a good story.
a weird time. I look back and I think, man, I was so risky.
Your favorite movie, though?
Well, On the Waterfront.
On the Waterfront.
Yeah.
Tell the story you told in church. His service is at 10:30 on Sundays. Yeah, it's the modern. Don't go into the traditional side.
Well, you can.
You can go into.
You
the
can.
traditional.
It's very.
Actually, weren't you made a priest this weekend or something?
I was ordained a deacon this weekend.
Well, what does that mean? You have to be a deacon before you get to be a priest?
Yeah, that's right.
I kind of wish that you didn't even do that stuff. I don't like those titles that men give. Why do you have to do that?
Well, that's
I like, pastor. Pastor sounds like a guy that's out working in the field with the people, and he has a gifting to encourage and uplift and admonish, and help people.
And I'm still going to go by pastor, but actually taking it to On the Waterfront.
Mm-hmm.
On the waterfront here, this guy was the priest, and he was changing the perspective. Carl Malden, changing the perspective that people have on priests, because people think of priests shut up in their ivory tower and their fancy chapel.
Now, they killed somebody, they drowned him, who was protesting against the owners of the waterfront.
Yeah, which is
all money issue.
Basically a mafia.
He comes down and says what? What happens then?
Well, he comes down to this body, and it's great because it's down in the docks, and there's a pit, and he's down in the pit. So it's a really great image.
Oh, that's right. They threw stuff down accidentally in the pit, and he didn't drown. He got killed.
The guy, the guy who was going to tell all about this. He was going to snitch. He was going to snitch.
Death to the snitch.
Yeah, be a pigeon. So anyway, he goes down there and the father to collect the body. And when he's down there, he starts to preach. And it's just this awesome monologue, one of the best monologues in cinema, where he starts to talk. And at a certain point, he's talking about how much it's a crucifixion of killing this guy, Dugan, who's just about to testify. He said, that's a crucifixion. Well, they start throwing stuff at him, these guys at the docks, and one of them says, go back to your church. And the best line is, he says, boys, this is my church. And if you don't think Jesus is down here on the waterfront, you got another thing coming. And it's awesome having a priest, saying those things. And I was sharing this in a sermon, and I was talking about how it's the same for Vero Beach. Jesus is out there in the community, in the brightest places, the beach, the parks, but also the dark places, when there's someone struggling in the middle of the night and they're, getting involved in drugs for the first time or drinking too much at the bars at 3 a.m. Jesus is standing right there beside them. And that's the Carl Malden.
Yeah. Well, religion thinks that it's some sort of a building or some religious. I mean, remember Gandhi interviewed his grandson, and he said his grandfather, Mahatma Gandhi, went to a church, knocked on the door in India, and they said, "Oh, you don't have the proper clothing, you can't come in."
Wow.
Now, had they allowed him in, he might have been a Christian.
Yeah, Gandhi was famous for quoting, he said, I like your Christ, but I don't like your Christians.
I was down at the Jensen Mall or whatever one time, and this kid, 15-year-old kid, I seen he has a big shirt, big red letters, Jesus.
Mm.
I thought, wow, that's great, a kid that's standing up for his faith. But as I approached him closer, it said Jesus, and underneath it said, save me from your followers.
Yeah.
And not only was I sad that it said that, but I
Yeah.
was sad that I could understand it.
Yeah. I sometimes
People
joke.
get religious, man, instead of loving. Right?
When I was up in Michigan, I'm from Michigan, and I'd hear people say, "Oh, Christians are judgmental,
Mhm.
Christians are ignorant, Christians are," and I'd never experienced that because I had this wonderful community of people that I knew that were Christian that were just so loving. And then I moved, down near the Bible Belt, and I realized what they were talking about. I was like, oh, okay, I see it now. So there are a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had to live through it though. I'm
Yeah.
a dummy. Yeah, I got a thick head. I have to actually go through the tunnel to get the lesson.
Sure.
So for 10 years, I was hanging with very religious people,
Mm.
Come forward now, receive what the Lord has for you. But just judgmental.
I love how there's some preachers that anytime they say the word God, it's different. Like they have an accent for everything. Yeah, it's God.
Where's that crap come from?
I have no idea. I don't know. And then there's the holy gasp, and they're
God.
stomp on the devil. Ha, ha, ha. And then it's like James Brown.
Yeah.
Good God. Yeah. Oh.
I was on an airplane and it was having motor trouble. And they said, quick, do something religious. So I had a collection.
Well, there's a story where there's a Catholic priest and a Pentecostal pastor and a Jewish rabbi, and they all find this bag of money. And the Pentecostal was like, we should give all this money to the poor, just use it all for God. And the priest says, no, we only need to give 10%. We can keep the rest for ourselves. And the Jewish rabbi said, let's throw it up in the air. Whatever money God wants, he can keep. And we'll take the rest.
Yeah. Anyway, so we all agree that, even Yeshua, the Messiah, said they're going to come one day killing you. Think they're doing my will. He says, watch out. They're coming. The idiots are coming over the hilltop. Here they come. They come with knives and swords and stuff.
But the reality is, we're all people, and we all have different perspectives. And I've known some great pastors that have done the Yelp, and they get excited. And
now, on behalf of Christianity, how much of our society is held together by the churches that help the needy, that feed the hungry, that clothe the naked? I mean, there's a whole take that out of our society, and we're duped. We're in trouble, baby.
Look at the educational influence of Christianity. They think that we're against education. Reality is, if it wasn't for Christianity, universities wouldn't have existed.
Okay, the birthday boy says we got to take a break. You having a good birthday morning there, Shane?
So far, so good.
Happy birthday, Shane! Happy birthday!
I love that. Boys, this is my church. That line with on the waterfront.
Boys,
this is my church down here on the waterfront.
Yeah. Yeah, there's different giftings. Like it's funny because
Skin cancer is no laughing matter. You should have a full body scan every year at Treasure Coast Dermatology with Dr. Tim Ioannidis over on 37th. That's right. Take care of yourself, and your skin will take care of you.
that was weird.
No, weird is the fact of iHeart is not playing news right now, so we're technically still live when we should actually be in the news right now.
So we have dead air.
Yeah, I'm now filling in for them. This is where I got 2 more minutes where we should have news right now, but they're not playing news. So I played a spot to see if we were still live. We are.
Okay, we'll just.
Ethan, go Heath. What's going on here?
Okay, so if you want to put us back on.
When I see all the things that are going on, we can go one day preserving life. MrJustThinking.com, spreading epiphanies. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Center for Advanced Eye Care. Eye doctors that genuinely care about your eye care. Dr. Brannigan, Dr. Kadade, Dr. Schnell, Dr. Katz, Dr. Mallon. Center for Advanced Eye Care. Do you want advanced eye care? I do. And I want the best for you too. Center for Advanced
Besides, CJ Cannons and Gina have something to say about CJ Cannons.
The best breakfast in town.
Can you bring us back after this ad?
Absolutely.
What's your favorite meal here in the morning?
I can. It's going to mess up the recording.
The traditional eggs Benedict.
That's where the problem lies, because they're not playing news. If I make us live now, you're going to talk over where the news would be. And then when they replay it tomorrow morning, it's going to just join in the middle of a segment.
Yeah, but they're going to hear these ads over the news tomorrow. Same thing.
The recording doesn't start again for another 30 seconds. What I'm trying to do is keep this equal to their recordings down there.
Okay.
Which I'm not even sure if their recordings are actually recording on time because their news isn't playing. iHeart's been a cluster, you know what, this morning, so.
All right. So you're going to bring us back in 20 seconds when we're back live.
I can bring you back in 10 seconds, or I can play the normal Mark the Hair Guy 3-minute spot. That's supposed to be at 33.
Oh, you got to play that. Yeah. Yeah, he pays for that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want Mark to get mad at me. He'd blame me.
Oh, you know? Oh, that's what your wife works
It's my
for.
wife's boss. Yeah, I love Mark.
Now, I don't know your wife that well. How does she's got like she's Irish, right? Because she's got like this Irish, I don't know the word is lilt. But she sings this thing and really ministers to me.
Oh, she's such a beautiful singer. That was one of the things that attracted me to her.
Now, I want to hear this too. There was one point yesterday where your brother said something like going into praise that was good. Then there was another section where we'd all been praising, and then it's like, and I had some tears in my eyes, you know, we're all going through different things, whatever our situation might be. And then he started talking, and it was like, you're stepping on what the Holy Spirit's doing. And I'm not sure. Now, what's the difference in the gifting? And yet when you come up to the mic, I immediately go, okay. I mean, because you got that gift. I think musicians have to be careful that they don't start to think they can walk into the preaching gift when that isn't their gift. They have a gift, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Sure. It's good to hear.
Yeah, because you have to be careful too, because you got a family there. And it's going to be really hard for you to admonish and say, look, you know, singing, coming in, maybe say a couple of brief words, like 5 and no more. But when you come out, when you're coming out of a song, there's all kinds of things. This person's going through the death of a father. This person's going through a breakup with a girl. This person's having a problem because they might lose their job. Whatever the situation is, and God's just ministering love and or a lesson you have to learn. And then all of a sudden somebody starts talking about what they're thinking is, you know, they're going, oh, let's all praise and thank him for the trees. Well, thank you for the trees. I'm talking about my job to Jesus. And ministry. It's like, whoa, you're stepping on this precious moment. You know, just, and yet I try to watch, I'm thinking, okay, so it's a problem with me because, you know, this is my calling. So, and they say if you spot it, you got it.
Yeah. Sure.
So I have to be very careful because I'm first to judge somebody who's in the music because it's like I'm very like I'm very anti self-glory. That is when that's not entertainment. It's and yet it's great when he dances like David would dance.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like that. As long as he's really doing it from the heart.
And he is.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah. I believe it. I think they all are.
Yeah.
And I was really glad the way that sensitivity they had to your wife yesterday.
About a minute and a half till we come back.
Okay, thanks.
I had to call Heath because at 33, they kicked into a minute worth of news. So I had to stop Mark because he wasn't going out of the air.
Okay.
And I started Mark at 34. So that's why we seem to be a minute behind.
All right. What was it?
They're sensitive to my wife.
Oh, yeah. They all sang something. There was a song that she did this lilting thing.
Yeah, it was
now,
beautiful.
for me, yes. So now I know she's your wife, so you're going to think so. But
Sure.
for me, now maybe it's just me.
No, I've heard that from a lot of people.
Yeah, I think she's and it was just, and they stayed soft. No one got in the way. It's, you know why the Beatles were so successful? You know why. We saw it when he took me to see Ringo. I immediately got more just seeing somebody live. There's some. That's why I like to meet famous people live because there's something happens.
Yeah,
I could talk to you over the phone now, but we've already sized each other. So anyway, we saw Ringo. And Ringo came out every time. You just looked at him. I said, first of all, he's a short little guy. And people don't know the Beatles were all short little guys. You know what they were? They were 4 humble lads. Don't tell me God didn't smile on those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a marvel that they came together.
Well, you see all these other bands that immediately when they get success, they break up.
I want my drumming to be first. I want.
Yeah.
No. There was a human. Even later on, they,
Yeah.
you know, they didn't, you know, they weren't to get in. They had played, and what it is, it's in Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point. Did you say you read that?
I've read.
Not the Tipping Point, the other one, where he says
Outliers.
they went out and played 10 hours a night in Germany. If they hadn't gone out of England, it would have happened. And so they became just like us. We did the show every day. All of a sudden, you know, it just has a flow. People tend to. The Beatles had that. You know, but anyway, when she was singing, it was great the way they stayed out of the way. Because it was like, whoa. She was like, wow. Yeah. Hey, I don't know. Are we back? Oh no, this again. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. It's Chuck Cannon. How you doing, Chuck?
Wow, I don't know how to follow all that. I'm doing fine. Just doesn't seem like that's enough.
The American life of Chuck. Well, he is the quintessential raconteur storyteller. If he ever comes up to your booth or table at CJ Cannon's, you know, he just let him on a roll. You got the stories.
That doesn't mean they're good stories.
It does. Yes, it does.
They're just
maybe it's
stories.
the way you tell them. It ain't what you say. It's the way how you say it.
You know, I did want to bring up kind of a tie into the patriotic thing in the movies, but I did watch the movie last night, Eye in the Sky. Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't.
You ought to watch that. It's a great movie. I really enjoyed it, but what I liked about it, it's about the use of drones in against as a counter-terrorist measure.
That's our future, man.
Well, and it lets you in on just how advanced we are. And I'm sure we're more advanced than they let us in on. But the amount of surveillance that they're able to do on people, just individual people in third world countries, that they can just.
Yeah, but is this real or is this conjecture?
Well, it's things I've read about, so I'm assuming it's based on reality anyway. Whether it's that real or not, I don't know. But the movie, besides being about that, is about the debate of violence, about the debate of war. And there are several different people that are represented in there. There's the humanitarian that wants no war, no violence, no anything. Then there's the military that wants to kill. Then there's the politicians that want to come out of the whole mess looking good. And the movie is based on a timeline that they have to make this decision to kill these terrorists while they're watching real-time drone surveillance of a little girl selling bread right outside the house that they're going to bomb. And the debate on this whole movie is each person's take on whether it's just casualties of war or is it
what do you call
the better the betterment, because these terrorists are going to go blow up a shopping mall. There are going to be 80 people killed was the story they were saying. There are two terrorists getting bomb vests on, and they were going to go blow up this.
Well, there was a movie like that a few years ago that I watched. Very famous actor. Who was he? This guy kept raping this lady. This Taliban guy kept raping this lady, and finally he gets to a point where he can send it, blow him up, and all of a sudden she starts to walk out the door. He kills the guy, and he's going, "Oh no, I hope I didn't kill her." And sure enough, there she is standing. She's okay. And this Taliban creep he had killed, but it was all about, what was that movie? It's a very famous actor.
This has been a brutal show today. We've talked about pornography, we've talked about rape, we've talked about murder. We're really getting into it today.
But the movie, I just wanted to bring it up because we were talking about.
We haven't talked about Trump though.
We haven't talked about
on those topics. Speaking of murder and rape.
Hey, talk about that. Don't forget the patriotic concert Monday night, 7 o'clock. Vero Beach High School Performing Arts Center with the Mr. Salmons and the theater, which has now been named after him, Mr. Jeff Salmons.
Rightfully
so. Believe me, you want to be reduced to some tears and be touched. You're free. Come over.
What time is it? You said
7.
7.
Yeah, they have an MC there. You might know.
Oh yeah, is he good?
No.
No.
It's a local guy.
Local
Okay.
guy, big mouth on
They
the
couldn't get
radio.
anybody big. They couldn't get, the mayor of the airways or anything.
So anyway,
Yeah.
so what are we going to talk about next here?
Well, we could talk about what Chuck was talking about earlier with the self-esteem movement.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We had a big conversation in the back room about everybody being equal and everybody getting a trophy and everybody being the best. And I had read some stories over the weekend of some university professors that were getting involved in lawsuits and social media slams because the students weren't getting straight A's. They were getting C's and D's and B's, and they were uprising. They were fighting these grades because, and the editorial on this was, these are kids that are in an age that grew up where we're all great, we're all one, we're all A students, we're all beautiful, we're all fast, we're all, and now they're in real schools, universities that are grading them on what they are capable of doing, and they can't accept it. They're going crazy. They're suing.
And we're not all equal.
Well, and that's what we all were starting to have the conversation about, was we are equal as far as we're all human. We should all have the same human rights. We should all be treated with the same respect.
Yeah.
But we're not all equal in talent or education or capabilities. Maybe that's a better word. I'm not fastest guy in here. I'm not as fast as you. I'm not as smart as him, and I'm not as good looking as him.
Don't point at me when you say that.
Well, my point
I
is,
like when he said he's not as good looking as him. He pointed off to nowhere.
nobody.
Nobody's there. He didn't want to admit anyone was better looking than him. I'm better looking than you.
Yeah.
schmucks.
Your wife was listening to this. You better watch out, boy.
but my point was, we and my story was about being trying out for Little League when I was a kid and not being good enough to make the team, and I went home and practiced. Then when I did make the team, I was the crappy guy on the team that sat on the bench all the time.
It wasn't your calling.
Well, after 2 or 3 years of practicing, I was on the team and I was very good. But I worked at
good.
it.
You worked at it.
But now my daughter, who went to T-ball when she was young, they just got an allotted amount of time, like everybody else, rotated in. They all played. T-ball may be a bad example because you're very young then, but you're allowed the same amount of time. You all get the trophy. You all get this. You all get the award. Where nobody's a winner. Everybody
Even
is
if
a
you
tie
suck
game,
at it.
no matter what it is. And I made a joke one time. I said, we're not going to be happy until we go to a football game. And we can't name the teams because everybody's offended by every team name.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Team A against Team B that will play a polite game of sport until it's a tie, and then we all go home happy.
Well, it's not going to be Team A and Team B because then Team B would
Actually be the second.
Yeah, Team A and Team 1.
Yes, yeah, right. Team A and Team 1.
Team A
Oh
and Team
my
1.
That's a good
God!
one.
Political stupid. Correct.
And we all play to a nice tie. Oh,
That's why people like Trump so much,
Well,
actually. Because
what?
the PC generation, it's a rebellion from it.
Yeah.
They want someone
We are
that,
all the number one thing people said. I was out getting my hair cut the other day, and the guy says, we just want something different. Then I'm out seeing, where was I the other day? And I said, I'm just not sure about Trump. I said, well, at least we want something different. We want somebody to start. Just yesterday, I can't remember. I get to meet so many people. Just want something different.
something authentic.
It's just like when that guy came. There was a counselor came to the Emerson Center. It was one day of schooling that the college that from the Brown University and Harvard and Yale, 3 professors came in. They're flown in for a Saturday morning, and this one was a consultant on politics, and he said, Jeb was news 11 years ago. It ain't what we want now.
No, yeah.
It ain't what we want.
But isn't
We's the people.
isn't it scary that what we say we want, how blatant both political parties are in telling us that they will do what they have to do to get their candidate in there, and we,
Yeah.
the people who vote,
Accept that.
are
Right.
saying, we want somebody to go in there and stir it up. When you get somebody that goes in there and stir it up, they are blatantly on the news show saying, you're not going to get that person if we have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These Republicans. I'm
Whether or
like,
not-
we got to
whether-
start the Whigs again because I'm cutting out of the Republican group.
Whether or
Look
not
what
you
they're
like
doing.
the candidate or not,
Yeah.
the political party is saying it will be
The
up to
McConnell
us to
guy.
tell you whether. And
I
again,
hate
on the
that
other
McConnell
side,
guy.
Bernie Sanders will never get the nomination because of the same reason
Yeah.
Trump does. Bernie Sanders is not controlled by the Democratic committee. And the Democratic committee wants Hillary Clinton in there,
Yeah.
and they want a political pundit in for the Republicans.
By the way,
and
there's
they're telling you this. They're on the news saying it doesn't matter who you vote for. We will put in. They can change the rules at the convention, and they said that we have the week before we have a rules convention, and we can change
the
the rules.
liberal press is constantly hitting against Trump. I mean, he does something wrong for the next 5 days. You hear about it. I will admit this: every time I want to like Trump, he says something stupid. You know, but
it's not the candidate. That's what I'm saying. I'm not really fighting because I like or dislike Trump. I'm just saying that the process is. We had a theory that the process was like this, and then now they're blatantly saying, "Yeah, it's like
Trump
this,
has changed the game. Yeah, what are we going to do about it? We're going to fire your butt, McConnell. Get the hell out of my Washington. That's my government. Get out of there, you crummy guy."
I think they're actually really related issues.
No wonder people hate Republicans when you got a guy like McConnell.
Talking about the self-esteem movement and also the lack of trust and authority.
Right.
These are very similar issues.
Yes, they are.
It's 1960s revolution brought us great music, but also brought us some really stupid ideas about, oh yeah, we could just tell everyone they're special and their opinion matters and everything like that. And we break down the authority structure.
Well, and it's a chipping away of a lot of little things because I argue about things. My wife and I will have these debates. And
his wife's a school teacher,
and I'll debate about things that I'll say, well, we need to say the Pledge of Allegiance every day. We need to be more religious.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be, and she'll say, well, the problem with that is the politically correct view is that some people may be offended by the Pledge of Allegiance. Some people may be offended. Wait a minute. Well, let me just get my point across.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, yeah, that is a small issue. But all those little issues of everybody wanting to be equal and everybody wanting to be the same, the chipping away of that is what has eroded us down to this level. It's not one thing. It's not one answer. Why are we like this now and we weren't like this 50 years ago? What's that answer? That answer isn't one thing. That answer is an erosion of a bunch of little things.
Yeah.
That now we're at a point where we're stewing in all this stuff that we've created, and now we want an answer. Well, the answer may not be as simple as get a guy, an outsider in Washington, and he'll make change. It may not be that.
Mr. Smith goes to Washington.
It doesn't happen
That'd be
anymore.
awesome.
It would be great if it
We
did.
could get Jimmy Stewart.
You just need one guy to go fix it, but it's not. It's beyond that. And maybe instead of looking for a quick fix, which is what we've become used to, maybe we need to start integrating a bunch of these little traditional things that we used to have. We don't need to keep chipping away at Christmas. We don't need to chip away at the way education is or the way we view somebody as faster or slower. We might need competition. We might need differences in people to all come together and then make us great again. It's not one. We're not one.
Okay, from a biblical perspective.
Okay.
Somebody came to me the other day and said, hey, God used two evil guys when they were talking about Trump, being so, Anyway, they said God used. Now I'm not saying he's evil, but he used two. He used Nebuchadnezzar, as it was, and some other dude to bless Israel, even though they were evil. So I mean, God can use Trump. He can use anybody dang well wants.
Absolutely.
I think the one thing. Well, you go ahead. You tell us.
So, what I was going to actually say, according to what Chuck was saying, the difference comes to the I and the us. There's a lot of focus right now on the I, but we don't trust the us. But the us is what's important. I had this woman who's a parent, and she was talking about, what do I do with my daughter? Do I lift her self-esteem up, give her all these positive messages of how incredible she is and all these things? Or do I not, because I don't want her to turn into this self-centered, egotistical person? I said, the most important is focusing on giving her confidence in her contributing to the community.
Right.
Confidence in her part, with her gifts, to be part of the whole. If you focus just on her, she's going to be self-centered. But if you focus on what she can contribute to the community.
Good point. That's great.
And that's what you're saying about with the Pledge of Allegiance, all the things. It's not about, oh, I'm the A student and nobody else is the A student.
If you want to get a team together, wouldn't you want somebody that's good at you're good at, you're fast, you're strong, you're the A team. You got the intellectual, you've got the guy that can figure out how to make things. Yeah, you get all those guys together, you're great.
Yeah.
You get a bunch of people that are all equal at doing the exact same thing, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
Well, it's Shane's birthday today. Yes, we're going to the birthday party. Hey, today's broadcast is brought to you by Happy Birthday, Shane, also known as AKA Spocky. Today's broadcast brought to you by Center for Advanced Eye Care. 5 eye doctors that genuinely care. Where's the birthday song? You're supposed to be playing the birthday
They say
song.
it's your birthday.
We're having a birthday party.
We're having the party in here, Shane.
See that? Today's broadcast brought to you by Center for Advanced Eye Care. 5 eye doctors that genuinely care about your eye care. Dr. Mal, Dr. Schnell, Dr. Katz, Dr. Kadadade, Dr. Brannigan. Anyway, Center for Advanced Eye Care. Now, you say, oh, well, that's Rhett. He's being paid to advertise. No. Yeah, we are being compensated in our business here. Let me tell you something. When my mom was alive, where did I send her? Center for Advanced Eye Care. Where do I go? Where do I send my loved ones? Where would I trust your children's eyes? And you know I love kids. Center for Advanced Eye Care, US 1. Don't you forget it.
He's doing birthday now.
You know, I watched iHeartRadio Awards last night. They were on.
Oh,
There
no.
was nothing on TV last night. We went to see that movie.
You could have been at this concert and you were there watching the
It was at
war.
9 o'clock at night.
Oh, okay. We were home by then.
But Justin Timberlake came out, which he's one of those guys that the more I see him and hear him, the more I like him. I started out not liking him because he's just
I
a boy
have to
band member,
agree.
but I like the guy.
Yeah, I guess.
So, and he's got a sense of humor that I like, and I like that shocking, over-the-top sense of humor that a lot of people find more offensive than funny. I find it funny. When I like Three Stooges because it's over the top.
Sure.
They overly do things, and that cracks me up. So Justin Timberlake comes out, and they're all screaming, and it's iHeartRadio Awards, so they're all very young, and they're screaming and they're yelling and all that, and he's like that, and then he goes, "Shut up!" And then everybody kind of shut up, and then he starts laughing, but nobody else laughed, and I got it. And I'm sure a lot of people did, but I thought it was hilarious, just that one little thing.
Yeah.
And he went on to introduce Taylor Swift, who is another marvel of an entertainer, whether you like her or
I've never
not.
seen her.
She just has, I mean, this was her 250th award she has gotten.
Wow.
And this girl's 25,
Yeah.
maybe? I don't know. I don't even know if she's that
What's so
old.
good about her? Have you heard her?
No, she's very talented. She writes her music. She plays her instruments. She's
She's
gone
she's got a
from
lot.
country to pop.
Is she the one that sang Jesus Take the Wheel?
No, that was,
No, she did she's pop. She did shake it up, shake it up.
she started out country and then she switched over
switched, yeah.
successfly to be
To
pop.
pop.
So you're sure she didn't do when she was in country that Jesus Take the
No,
Wheel?
I'm
Who
sure
did
she
that?
I don't remember that. But
That was
Okay.
that was a good song.
That was earlier. Taylor.
But she does all her own writing. She plays her instruments.
I'm not a
She's-
huge Taylor fan, but she's,
I'm not a big Taylor fan, but I respect what she's done at 20. She's in her mid-20s. I mean, she's just become huge. I mean, she is iconic now. But he was introducing
Coming
her.
back in 10 seconds.
It
Is
was
there
the
anything
same
that I would like? I don't know. I like James Taylor.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, she was named
That's
after
right.
the other
I like
Taylor.
James Taylor too.
Oh, he mispronounced her name. That's what made it fun.
Yeah, Taylor Swift was named after James Taylor, but I prefer James Taylor. So,
I've seen fire and I've seen rain.
well, my father used to say that, hey, it's dictated to the masses what they're going to like. It's what they put out.
Sure.
Well, that's what we're talking about with politics.
Is all we got
Oh,
to choose from.
yeah,
What do we have?
apparently.
We got Hillary, we got Bernie. Bernie's kind of fun, though.
He is.
You know, can you imitate him? Let's see. What does he have? Does he have like a Boston accent? You know,
My favorite
park
is-
the car. You know, somebody.
My
Somebody's
favorite is
mad.
Larry David doing Bernie
Yes.
Sanders.
Who?
Larry David,
Oh.
who's a co-creator
He
of
was great.
Seinfeld and did Curb Your Enthusiasm. If he was running for president, playing Bernie Sanders, I would have to go for it.
Okay, but
we
this
don't have a super PAC. We don't even have a backpack. I've got one
Well,
pair of
so
underwear. Just
what
one
about
pair.
backpack?
Yeah.
No, that's Bernie Sanders.
That's right.
It'd be easy to imitate.
Yeah.
I gotta watch him. I get one of my friends to imitate him.
Well, I tell you what, no matter what we have, we might have a bad president, we might have a good president, but we're going to have an awesome president to mock. Comedy is going to have a great 4 years.
Oh,
Next-
whoever it is?
Whoever it is.
Even if it's
if
what's her
it's
name?
Hillary,
Really?
if it's Bernie. Oh,
Well,
well,
Bernie will
have
be-
you seen the Saturday Night Live with the Hillary?
Yeah, that lady does
Oh,
Hillary
she's
turns
so
into Bernie.
good. Oh, I
Who is
know.
she? She
I know.
deserves that. She deserves to win
Yeah.
an Academy.
Hillary, Trump, Bernie, they're all so fun to make fun of.
And Trump with his hair. You gotta be, it is
Oh, yeah.
outrageous.
Yeah.
It is. It's characters.
They
And
are.
even
They're all
Jeb
characters.
fell into it and was pulled in. And even this guy Ted.
Yeah,
Ted, I mean, he's like, what are you doing? He never talks about what he's going to do. It's always from Reagan. Every time that Carter came up, he goes, well, there he goes again. Now, this is what I'm going to do. The world pulls aside, steps aside but the person knows where he or she's going. This is my plan of action. I don't know what his plan of action. Ted, stop picking on Trump. Don't even respond to it. Just go, this is what I'm going to do. Only reason I don't want to tell my good friends because they're for Trump. I mean, for Ted. I couldn't stand hearing that nasally, nosy voice for 4 years.
Well, Ted
I don't know
Cruz
what it
is a
I
professional
also-
debater also, and
It
he
seems
is
so
long-winded
canned.
and everything.
It's canned.
Well, here's the thing, and that's what I was going to say is I think the anti-Trump
Yeah.
is not playing the Trump game. It's actually giving people plain talk and saying, here's what Trump is doing. He's trying to distract you. And here's what I'll say. And then going through and actually saying point by point, this is the things that you're not going to get from Trump. And then Trump will do his whole show, and then you just go right back to it. The Ronald Reagan kind of simple talk of clear and precise things that he's planning on doing
Goals.
would be the anti-Trump.
Yeah.
But what Ted's doing, he's trying to bandstand. He's trying to
Yeah,
be the politician.
You could have won
Doesn't
this
work.
thing, baby,
Doesn't
if
work.
you'd handled it better.
Yeah.
They should
Yeah.
be paying me. I'm going to be a political consultant. My price tag's $20,000. I'll get 20 million, excuse me, and I'll guarantee you get elected.
You can't.
Well, no,
out-Trump
I have a
Trump.
friend of mine. I have a friend of mine over on the beach, and he talks to Rubio every day. 5 days before this whole thing went down in Florida, I said, tell him this, and I believe I'm right on.
Mhm.
I was right on. It's too late now for him. I said, tell him to call a press conference. First thing he says is, and the world will show up because they think he's going to bow out.
Mhm.
He's not going to bow out. What he does is, I want to apologize to Mr. Trump, and I want to apologize to American people. I got sucked into this thing. It's not my true character. I sincerely apologize, but I'm not backing out. I'm going to start afresh. The world, the American people love to forgive. They would have forgive Marco, and he would have saved his future career. Now he's turned me off, everybody off.
Yeah.
All remember now is the water, and then years ago, remember, and now we're going to remember that he was like a robot, and then he talked about Trump's hands.
Yeah.
He lowered himself.
Yeah.
He went to the bottom of the barrel, and Trump had pulled Jeb's history.
Yeah.
Gone.
What Chris Christie
Forever.
did. What Chris Christie did to that Marco Rubio in that debate.
Oh,
Oh, that was brilliant. That was what I'm talking about. That like basically saying this is what Marco Rubio is doing.
and he
So when
kept
he's
doing
doing-
it.
Yeah.
It was,
That's right.
he was robotic.
Yeah.
Come on, we want real. One thing about Trump is he's a goof. Now, what I would say
Yeah.
to Trump is, if he paid me $10-20 million to consult him now, I'd say, you got to have succinct plans now and just hit it and hit it and hit it and stop with the goofiness. You're beyond that. You already got the thing now, and people pull the lever for people they know. Why do you think they have these? Look at that guy who ran for city council in town here. He was right down here. He was in the lawyer. I don't know, he moved out of the area, but, he had these huge signs a few years back.
Mhm.
Jewish guy down in Royal Palm Point. He was in business with his uncle, who's a famous attorney. Anyway, he won because name recognition.
Mhm.
Which
That's
is
what
sad.
Trump got.
Which is sad.
Trump's Trump in the political party.
At this point, I'll vote for Trump. I just want something new. Give me something different. Oh my gosh.
Well, the sad thing is what I was talking about when they're saying that the Republican committee has made comments that they would rather have 4 years of Hillary than 4 years of Trump because Hillary's a political figure and they can still control that. And that is one of the saddest
It
things
is
that I
such
think
a
I've ever
sad
heard.
statement.
Who said that?
The head of the Republican committee, I
That's
can't remember
ridiculous.
his name, but they had a
He'd rather have Hillary?
than Trump.